The psychology behind emotional detachment is often rooted in the mind's attempt to protect itself from overwhelming pain, disappointment, rejection, or vulnerability. Emotional detachment does not necessarily mean that a person has no feelings. Sometimes it means they have learned to keep those feelings at a distance, because experiencing them fully once felt too dangerous. A person may appear calm, independent, or unaffected while internally avoiding emotional experiences that could make them feel exposed. They may struggle to become deeply attached to others, withdraw when relationships become intimate, or feel uncomfortable when someone expresses strong affection toward them. Sometimes they convince themselves that they simply do not need anyone, when underneath that independence may exist a fear of depending on someone who could eventually leave. Another sign is difficulty identifying or expressing emotions. Instead of saying, "I am hurt," they may say, "It doesn't matter." Instead of confronting sadness, they bury themselves in work, distractions, routines, or constant activity. Emotional detachment can also appear after repeated disappointment. When someone has experienced enough betrayal or rejection, the mind may decide that caring less is safer than caring deeply. The problem is that emotional defenses rarely discriminate between painful emotions and positive ones. The same walls that protect you from heartbreak can also block intimacy, joy, affection, and genuine connection. The greatest tragedy is that detachment can become so familiar that a person begins confusing emotional distance with emotional strength. They may believe they are simply mature, rational, or self-sufficient, when they are actually avoiding experiences that require vulnerability. Yet healthy emotional regulation is different from emotional avoidance. You can remain calm while still acknowledging what you feel. You can maintain boundaries without completely shutting people out. You can be independent without convincing yourself that needing connection is weakness. Healing begins when you become curious about what your detachment is protecting you from. What would happen if you allowed yourself to care? What are you afraid someone might discover if you became emotionally honest? Sometimes the answers lead back to experiences where vulnerability was punished, trust was broken, or emotional needs were ignored. Recognizing this does not mean tearing down every defense overnight. Emotional safety is built gradually. Start by acknowledging feelings without immediately judging or suppressing them. Communicate honestly with people you trust, and allow yourself to experience small moments of vulnerability without demanding certainty. If emotional detachment is persistent or significantly affecting relationships and daily life, professional support can also help uncover its roots. You do not have to choose between being emotionally vulnerable and being emotionally protected. The goal is to learn when protection is necessary and when the walls have simply become too high. Sometimes healing means realizing that not every person is a threat. Not every connection will end in betrayal, and not every feeling needs to be escaped. The heart becomes free not when it stops feeling, but when it no longer has to hide from everything it feels.